Hey guys, Scott here. We talk about the most survivor-sided maps in the game quite a bit because there are frankly a lot of them, and notoriously DBD's history has been filled with just an absolute ton of super survivor-sided maps with genuine infinites and just absolute horror stories, but there's typically not maps that are insanely killer-sided. There are definitely some killer-sided maps, like Azeroth Resting Place if you play the 3-gen, Dead Dog Saloon if you play the 3-gen in the back. There have definitely been a couple of killer-sided maps, for sure. But it's always been kind of hard to tell what the most overwhelmingly killer-sided map is, and I think we finally have it in New Haddonfield. So I'm just, like, playing live right now just to go through this map. If you guys didn't know, Haddonfield has had an absolutely tumultuous history in this game. It is really always bad for one side or the other. It's never actually balanced. So the original version of Haddonfield was extremely survivor-sided. The updated version of that, where they cut the fences out, was still survivor-sided. Then they made the new Haddonfield, which was survivor-sided unless you played the 3-gen that happened right here. It was this generator, the one upstairs, and then one out here. You could get that 3-gen to spawn. Hell, I even got on this map. Look at how stupid this 3-gen is. So, the old Haddonfield, the old Haddonfield, you could win on this map if you play the 3-gen. If you didn't play the 3-gen and you chased people into these buildings, you would lose because these buildings were way too strong. So it was a very, very black and white. Are you playing the 3-gen? You win as killer. Are you not playing the 3-gen? You lose as killer. And that was pretty lame. So then in the previous version of Haddonfield, they killed this 3-gen. They removed this generator. This one couldn't spawn anymore. And because they removed this generator, it went back to being, well, now I don't have the 3-gen to defend, so it's back to just being survivor-sided again. And now we have this version of Haddonfield, where not only did they cut out like a third of the map, they killed almost every single good window in every single one of these buildings, but they also brought the 3-gen back on top of it. So now you don't even have to play this 3-gen anymore. But again, you can see how close these 3 generators are. There's one upstairs right there, one right here, and one right here. They are so stupidly close to each other, I can get to each generator within 3 seconds. And that is, again, not accounting for anything else on the map. Like, a lot of these pallets now are just these weird, like, fillers on the outside. Like, what the fuck is this? This pallet, this is one lunge. I can just lunge around this entire loop. It makes no sense. All of the God windows that were in here, admittedly, a lot of these God windows did need to be nerfed. I'm okay with some of them being removed, but pretty much all of them are just blocked now or have an exit 2 feet away if they're not blocked. Pretty much the only safe pallet now is downstairs in the House of Pain, which is not even a House of Pain anymore. It's just a nice little whatever house. But every single, like, window that had a ridiculously strong setup has been, for the most part, removed. Or if it's not removed like this one, they put a drop down here, so if the survivor does vault it, you can still catch up with them. So the windows are not really strong anymore. The pallets are really, really bad. The 3-gen is basically unwinnable if the killer decides to play it. And again, they removed like a third of the map. There's an entire house missing that could have also spawned generators with more pallets and loops and things like that. So all this stuff is just gone. So we're left with this absolute bare bones nothing, where you've got some shitty filler pallets on the outside, the houses are bad, and if the killer decides to play on that 3-gen, you just lose. So I think Haddonfield, the current version, is actually the most killer-sided map we've ever had in DBD's entire history. There have been maps that have been close. Rancid Avatar is pretty bad for Survivor now. Again, Azeroth if you play the 3-gen, Dead Dog as well. There are a couple of maps. Wrecker's Yard can be, depending on RNG, but this, I think, is decidedly the most killer-sided map in the entire game. They completely neutered Haddonfield. At the very, very least, one change they can do, just why'd they bring this shit back? This was the thing that broke it. Why'd they bring this back? I understand, making the rest of the map weaker, but why would you bring this hellhole back? Oh my god, the amount of times I'm having to play against this as Survivor. And even on Killer, it's boring, because if I just sit here and ping-pong between these gens, I just can't lose. I don't know. So yeah, I think this is the most killer-sided map in the entire game, and I don't even think it's close anymore. Haddonfield is an absolute shadow of what it used to be. Again, I don't want it to be any-sided. I didn't like it being, favored towards Survivor either. Them abusing Balanced Landing was also terrible. So, they really need to find a good balance here. I think a good step would be removing that 3-gen again, and then we'll have something. It's still pretty weak, but at least you're not pigeonholed into that terrible shit area. So, anyway, that's it. I just wanted to talk about the new Haddonfield. Close game. See you tomorrow.